Hello folks, a very warm welcome to another video here in the Microsoft Sim. This will be something a little bit different, a little bit special you might say. We find ourselves in the gorgeous beast that is the PMDG 737-600. Featured it in a first impressions video the other day. Have since flown it a bunch more times. To say I'm enjoying it would be an understatement. One of the best purchases I've made in a flight simulator for a long time. I would go that far. I'm not a PMDG fanboy by any stretch. I know they do cop a little bit of hate, and maybe deservedly cop a little bit of, hate. No, they shouldn't cop hate. Criticism, valid criticism, absolutely. But anyway, folks, as I hide behind that's quite cinematic, isn't it? Hey, a little peek around the corner. Anyway, folks, something a little bit special today. I'm going to do a flight that I love to do, and I haven't done it for a while, and I don't think I've published anything to the channel featuring this route for quite some time. We're in the beautiful Varigi livery. And although this is the default airport, it's a pretty ordinary representation. But that said, at the same time, it's not too bad. Love to see a good quality payware. But folks, we're in Sao Paulo. We're in specifically Congonhas, which is the main domestic airport servicing this megatropolis. How many bloody tens of millions of people call Sao Paulo home these days? A lot. Absolutely amazing place. If you can get there in real life, do yourself a favour. Make the journey. Experience all that Brazil in general has to offer. So that's where we begin our journey in Sao Paulo. And we're going to take a run down to Rio. So we're going to go here from Congonhas down to Santos Dumont. So the two domestic airports. We're connecting up. And we're going to fly a pretty famous or infamous, depending on how you look. It's pretty famous, isn't it? Approach into 02 right at Santos Dumont. I'll talk about that a little bit more as we get closer to our destination. It's only a short trip, and we're going to go down in sort of the mid-20s in terms of flight level cruise. Doesn't take us long to get down there. We're flying this gorgeous beast. We're cold and dark, so I'm going to have to work my way through the checklist to actually start this thing up. That's something I've invested in, the learning experience of actually starting this thing up properly. Let me just prove to you, cold and dark. Actually, that's where Jude sits. This is where I'm going to sit. And I'm also running with a cockpit mod, so the texture mod here. You can see it's dirty, and that kind of that's quite appropriate when you consider the crew for this flight, isn't it? Anyway, special flight, special route. It's a special flight because it's the 2-year anniversary today of, let me jump back inside, you don't need to see anything more in the VC. Let's enjoy a beautiful morning here in Sao Paulo. It's the 2-year anniversary of when this sim was released. So as I film this, it's August 19th, where I am, in Australia, but it's August 18th in a lot of other places in the world. And August 18th, 2020 was when this iteration of Microsoft Flight Simulator was released, the 2-year anniversary. So I thought I'd do something a little bit special to mark the occasion, a bit of an anniversary type flight. And it gave me an opportunity to reflect on what the experience has been like for me in the last 2 years flying in this sim. I'm not exclusively flying in this sim. I still indulge in the other sim. In fact, there's another couple of sims that I indulge in, but this one and X-Plane are the main sims for me at this point. But I thought I'd just reflect, and I'd share those reflections with you on a short flight up to Rio. So I'll get this thing started, out onto the runway, we'll get airborne, and then I'll talk through my reflections of 2 years of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Alright, so just lining up runway 17 right here at Congonhas, folks. We're doing it from a slightly different angle. I think we're pretty much right to go. There are definitely some issues in terms of the. I think the technical term is the terraforming around this airport. It is quite a unique Unique place to fly in and out of. Short runways, interesting weather sometimes here in Sao Paulo. This is unfortunately quite an infamous location. There was an aircraft, an A320, that went in here a number of years ago, killing everyone on board plus a whole lot of people on the ground. Plenty of videos, including some simulation or simulated reenactments of it, are available on the tube. Not a video to watch if you're about to fly into or out of this airport in real life, particularly in wet weather. Public service announcement there for you folks. Runway 17, let's jump inside. Here we go. First officer's seat. I am of course joined by my co-conspirator, the lovely Jude, Brazilian Jude, fluent in Portuguese, she tells me. Hasn't demonstrated that yet, but she tells me that, and I'm going to take her word for it. Runway 17 right here, folks. I think we're good to go, Jude. I'm going to hit the old clock. Going to spool them up a bit. What have we got? Takeoff config. What's the problem with our takeoff config, folks? Let's hit the brakes. What's wrong with our config? What's happening here? Speed brake armed. We've got flaps set. We've got RTO. We're good to go. What haven't we done, Jude? What haven't we done? If I get rid of the speed brake, why is that a problem? I don't know. I'm going to press the magic button, Jude. We're going. Let's go. Full takeoff power here, folks. We have airspeed alive. Beautiful morning here because I've made it a beautiful morning using the Clear Skies weather preset.
100 knots.
Thanks, Jude.
V1, rotate.
Thank you. Away we go, folks. Rotate. Get above these buildings at the end of the strip.
Positive rate.
Thanks, Jude. I was a bit ahead of you there. We've got a left-hand turn once we get to 3,400 feet. Retrim. There's 3-4. We'll make that left-hand turn. Get some flap action happening as well. Continue out. This is such a fantastic aeroplane to hand fly. Hats off to PMDG. They've done a fantastic job here. Get some acceleration happening as well, Jude, hey? Get some motion. Increase that motion. Alright, we'll go flaps up. Well, flaps 1 anyway. Pitch down, continue to increase that speed. We'll let Georgie do some hand flying. Oh, not some hand flying. Some automated flying for us here in a minute. We'll go flaps up there. Georgie will try and chase 230 to VNAV speed, heading towards our next waypoint. SP102 ahead of us at about 6 miles. Right, we might do some Command B stuff, Georgie. Let you do some flying, mate. I've got you in a good shape. Now 250 knots, accelerating through. You can go off on the old auto brakes. Landing gear can come off. Here we go, folks. The city, the megatropolis that is Sao Paulo, Brazil. The commercial heart of a country of, what are we? We're up to about 220 million now, population. Shout out to all of my Brazilian viewers. I know I do have a few of you over there. I do see that in the Google Analytics. Oi to the bang, as they say. I hope everyone is well. Anyway, folks, I'll let Georgie get us up into the cruise. We're heading for 230. Pretty low sort of cruise. We'll go standard Barrow at this point as well. 230. It'll be a nice short flight up to Rio this morning. And in the en route portion of the video, I'll talk a little bit about my reflections. After almost, well, it's been 2 years since the sim was released. I haven't had it since day one, but I've had it for most of that time. I'll talk about my reflections for what they're worth. Alright, so we're almost in the cruise, folks. Forgive me, a little bit of a premature segment. You might say a bit of premature reflection Always a dangerous thing to be premature in any aspect of life, isn't it, folks? You know all about that, Jude, and that's why you're looking the other direction as I mention it. You don't want me sharing this aspect of our life with viewers, do you? Well, it's a bit late, Jude. A bit late for that. Folks, let me go back inside and enjoy the beautiful scenery here provided by the sim, the atmospherics. It's just a beautiful morning. I love it when you can control the weather, that sense of power that a simulator provides you. Yeah, only flight level 230. It's a short hop, folks. You get up, time for a bevy or two, and then you're on your way down into Rio. So, in terms of reflections on the sim, I've actually done a little bit of prep here, folks. I was thinking about this earlier. I thought, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? So as I'm speaking these reflections, some stuff's going to appear on the screen. And I may be sort of allowing some space for that to happen by the position of the camera. Hey, as I told you, I did some prep, the old fella. Anyway, folks, as I was thinking about what's this sim been like for me over the last couple of years? Well, it's probably been, for me, overwhelmingly, on balance, a very positive experience, I have to say. It's brought a lot of joy to my life. And as I was thinking about what is it about this sim that I've liked, and conversely, what have I not liked about it? That's what you're going to see in this video. That's what's going to appear on the screen as I say the words. So one of the things that I think has been a real positive has been the development, the growth of the community. The flight simming community has grown, like, massively with the release of this sim. You can't deny it. And that's a good thing. That is a good thing. Some of the old fellas, the old bloody grumpy old men of the simming caper, they don't like it. They don't like that this sim's available on Xbox, for example, and that it's treated as a game, but it is a game. It is a sim. It's whatever you want it to be. And the fact that we've now got this community of people playing this game, simming this sim on Xbox, I think is fantastic. It's opened up a massive market. Of course from Microsoft and Asobo and all the guys that are sort of behind the scenes there, but also the development community. I mean, it's just a huge market now that wasn't there when it was P3D and X-Plane and FSX, right? So we've grown the community. I think that's a very positive thing. That ecosystem that has come with that growth in the community, we've now got all these developers doing stuff, right, and selling stuff. We've got a marketplace full of content. We've got fantastic freeware community and modding community, and I try and do my best to show my appreciation to those people in my Freeware Friday and Modders Monday episodes. So there's this big ecosystem that's growing all the time. Scenery, aircraft, utilities. We're seeing some really cool stuff appear in this sim. I think for me personally, this sim has provided me with some genuine sort of holy shit moments in a good way. Holy shit, almost kind of awe-inspiring type thing. Like no other sim has ever done for me. As I look out the window and I sort of pan around, and the world looks as real as any sim's ever looked. And I think maybe any sim ever will really get, realistically. A home-based simulator anyway. Just incredible. Being able to fly over places that I've flown over in real life, and it's like, holy shit, this is as close to real as I can ever imagine. And you realise how far this simming caper has come. For me, it's been almost a 30-year journey since I started, and now we have this wonderful experience. And I think overall, this sim has provided me with enjoyment. That's what it comes down to. I mentioned this in quite a few videos. It's all about enjoying. It's about an escape. It's about enjoying the experience. If you're not enjoying it, why are you doing it? I feel like we've got a lot of grumpy people in the simming community, or a few, not a lot, a few. I kind of read the stuff and watch videos and whatever, and I think, just give it up, mate. If you're not happy, stop doing it. Go and do something else with your bloody life. You know, this thing called life has all these opportunities. And if you're not enjoying it, if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right for mine. And I've had some absolutely joyous moments. And moments of real escape that have kind of helped me deal with everything else that's been happening in real life in the 2 years that this sim's been around. So I'm thankful for that. We might switch to a different view and do the down. Look at that! Look at that! Absolutely fantastic, isn't it? I better keep an eye on. Yeah, we'll be nearing our top of descent. It'll come around pretty quickly. Like, yeah, really quickly. So the old fella needs to get on with it. In terms of downsides, folks, there have been a few. I spoke about the community that's grown has been a positive thing, and it has. But there's also a fair bit of aggro in the community. There's a bit of you know, us versus them. There's this polarisation. We see this in society. Social media has a lot of responsibility for that. The us versus them. You're either an X-Plane simmer, or you're a Microsoft simmer, or you're a DCS simmer, or whatever, and, you know, people look down on each other, and it's just aggro, and it's just bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Whatever sim you're using, as long as you're enjoying it, who gives a shit about what other people are doing, really, at the end of the day. I think the updates in this sim, the frequency of updates, positive and negative, it's the price to pay, the price of admission for a sim that keeps developing. I get it. Updates kind of sort of broken some stuff, and there's some stuff that I think sort of deteriorated over time. But yeah, it has frustrated me a bit with some updates, but I accept that it's part of playing the sim. So I don't know if that's all about a negative thing. The online thing, always having to be online to play this sim, the server issues. I've got pretty ordinary bandwidth. That's been an issue. There's a positive side, and it provides the beautiful scenery that we see. I get it. At times it's a bit frustrating though. I kind of long for the old days where you have everything local. But yeah, slight negative. And I think the final bit of negative, you can see there's 4 items of each. Hey, talk about balance. We've got some pretty crap payware, haven't we? I spoke about the ecosystem being a good thing. We've also got some pretty ordinary stuff out there being sold, quick buck sort of stuff that's being abandoned. Yeah, buyer beware, I suppose. Do your homework, do your due diligence, and but just be aware of it. I think we'll see, you know, we'll continue to see that because the market's so big. People are going to make, or developers are going to make some cash. Anyway, folks, that's my reflections for what it's worth. They're just mine. You may have your own. You may have totally different reflections. Feel free to share them in the comments. Happy for that to happen. I'm going to see you for the approach into Rio. City of Rio de Janeiro, folks. Gorgeous, isn't it? So Galeão, the international airport, is there. And then Santos Dumont is over here. Should also mention at this point that I'm running with some payware for Santos Dumont and the city of Rio, the Paulo Ricardo version. Worth picking up just quietly, but do yourself a favour and explore it with a bug smasher. Do it low and slow. Would be my suggestion. I've sort of departed from the planned track here a little bit. Yeah, do it low and slow and really explore what he's done to this place, because I mean it's pretty impressive, the default Rio, but his work takes it to another level. I've enjoyed his stuff for many years back in the other sims, and but this is his best. This is his finest work for mine. Paulo Ricardo. I will link to that in the description. Anyway, folks, I'm going to get us down here. I'm going to do some hand flying, and we'll fly the approach into 02 right at Santos Dumont. Alright, folks, the concluding stages. This scenery is a little bit heavy on the old frames, but it's impressive. Sync pull up, yeah. There's the airport at around about a 10 o'clock position, folks. Jude seems pretty confident anyway in my abilities. Much more confident than I am. Yeah, I know this terrain, big fella. So this is going to be a flaps 40 approach. We're okay. We are sinking a little bit too quick. That's the problem. He doesn't like it, Georgie. So this beach here is Botafogo, I think it might be pronounced that way, or some other completely different way. My apologies to my Brazilian friends. And basically we, yeah, terrain. Probably should have disabled that. We'll take flaps 30 at this point as we take the corner here. That could get quite annoying, that pull-up thing. And we'll take a view out here, Jude, if we can. We've got to keep turning. It's not going to be much help to me at all. Our VREF is almost there. We'll take flaps 40. We'll keep some speed in because we don't want to get too slow here. We don't want to drift out too far past the extended centre line, and we're at risk of doing so. And there we go. So we're looking for the runway on the right hand side, folks. 02 right. Probably could have extended that sort of base, if that's what they call it. We're getting a little bit slow here. 128 was our VREF at flaps 40. Now we're getting high. Trying to fly it like a fighter jet. Never a good idea. I haven't done a particularly good job here of flying this approach. We're back on VREF. 02 right at Santos Dumont, folks.
200. Minimums.
We'll continue, Georgie, thank you.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Do need to get it on fairly early. And I managed to float that one out. No reverses. Geez, the auto brakes are good. I've disabled them though. We'll roll out through to the end. Thanks, Georgie. Anyway, folks, there wasn't too much that was textbook about that, but we got it sorted in the end. Those spoilers in as well. Just roll through to the end here. The Niterói Bridge ahead of us. Absolutely fantastic scenery package here. And we'll take this last turn. Otherwise we're going to end up in the drink. There she is, folks, City of Rio. Thank you for your company on another flight. It is appreciated. And happy birthday to the Microsoft Sim. 2 years and counting. There was a few doubters there early on, but 2 years and going pretty strong, continuing to develop. We'll continue to see more great releases, and in my case, I'm really looking forward to continuing to enjoy it, because that's what it's all about. Thanks for your company, folks. Stay well, keep enjoying your simming, and we'll see you next time.